Hello, Virgo, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We're looking at all three sides of it. We've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it, the concept being that there are three sides to every story. So looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level, unbiased truth in the middle, really trying to answer the question, what is the purpose for this connection, and what is the best way to move forward with this connection? These energies can absolutely be swapped. So if you resonate more with the energy to my right than to my left, that's totally fine and totally normal. Please remember, these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully with everyone. So take what resonates and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. We'll dive into a different tarot deck for each side. But as always, I've gone ahead and pulled the overall energy and clarified that, which we'll jump into in a second. And then any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Try to keep that under a minute. So killed it. All right, Virgo. On your side of this connection, you have release with the Six of Swords in reverse. You are, I don't know what the kind of connection this is. It is a painful one, and you are stuck on it. I feel like you are having such a hard time moving forward from this connection. I don't feel like this is a connection that is currently like together. Because, I mean, we'll get there in a second, but you have the Death card in between the connection, or it's like on its way out, and I don't know. It feels like this is a connection that you can't seem to shake, but that consistently seems to provide you with pain. This person, they have air with the Page of Cups in reverse. Could be dealing with an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. You definitely don't have to be, because the other way that I see this, like air, especially in tarot, you know, being the sword, it's more like thoughts, right? This person seems to live their life very much in their head. And the Page of Cups in reverse is an energy of emotional immaturity, emotional unavailability. So I feel like this person lives their life maybe through the lens of like logic and not necessarily through the lens of emotion. Now, I feel like that it goes a little deeper than that. Like it could be a lack of vulnerability. It could be a tendency for like towards deception. I'm not quite sure yet. We'll see when we dive into tarot. But the truth of this connection, and this kind of like this energy kind of blew me away when I pulled it. You have the Death card with the Ten of Swords. Like this has been a very painful connection. And if it's not a connection that has ended, there's a cycle in between this connection that needs to end. So I feel like this has been a very, very painful connection for you. And I don't know if you've been trying to just like, I don't know if you want to move forward from this and can't. I don't know really. I want to pull tarot before I talk further on that. So let's start, Virgo, by looking at your side of this connection. Release with the Six of Swords in reverse. This is Virgo's side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. This is Virgo's side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. One more. This is Virgo's side of this connection, please. This is for Virgo's side of the connection. Virgo's side of this connection, please. What does Virgo need to know about the side? Five of Swords. Okay, with the Chariot. And the Ten of Wands. Oh, goodness. Okay, you are definitely in an energy of trying to, like, protect yourself right now. Like, I feel like you're on defense. That's what this feels like. This connection has been very heavy for you. And I feel like you've been bearing... That's what this feels like. It's like you've been bearing the burden of, like, the pain in this connection. Like, you've been carrying it around. Like this Ten of Wands. With the Chariot here, it feels like it's been so hard to move forward. Like, it's like you want, that's what it feels like. You want to move forward, but it feels like you can't, like you're stuck. Yeah, because there's that Six of Swords. It's like you want this, but it feels like you can't, you haven't been able to release it or to move forward from it or to, I don't know, choose yourself or something here. And I feel like it's got you very... frustrated, but almost like like just burnt out, like just drained. Like it feels like this connection has just drained you. Virgo's side of this connection. Virgo's side of this connection, please. Virgo's side of this connection. Queen of Wands, Death in reverse. Could be dealing with fire sign. Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. You don't have to be. Because this Queen of Wands, Virgo, it actually feels like you. And it feels like resistance to changes that, like, need to take place in this connection or something. Like I feel like I don't know if you don't want this to fully end. Like, you don't want this to fully end. You want this to change for the better. And maybe that's on a subconscious level. Because it feels like you have gotten the rug completely ripped out from underneath you with this connection. Like, this feels like this has been on so many levels a very challenging, very painful connection. Like, it doesn't feel like it just is like, and maybe more so than any other connection you've experienced, which is why you're so stuck on it. Virgo side of the connection. You know, oftentimes the connection that are the connections that have been the most painful for us are also, can also be some of the best connection we've ever experienced, right? Because sometimes the most painful is usually balanced out by the most positive aspects too. And oftentimes that's why we stay stuck on situations that are very painful, is because we do remember how it felt when things are very positive. But, and I'm not saying you are, I don't know, I'm going into this already, but I'm not saying you are yet, but when you're dealing with people who are emotionally unavailable and typically kind of have a tendency to lean more towards like being a little bit narcissistic, oftentimes they'll, it's almost like they'll be exactly what you need to be in the beginning of connection, so that when things turn bad, you still see the potential through the lens of how things were in the beginning. And it feels like that could have very well happened here. Because I feel like a part of the reason why you're having a hard time moving forward from this is because maybe things were as good as you've ever had it at one point. And that doesn't mean, and I will say, like, when you're dealing with something that's very painful, you start kind of questioning like what was real and what wasn't. And that could be something that's happening here. Like, you're like, well, were things even good, or were they just kind of faking the connection so that I, would stick around? I'm not quite sure. If that's exactly what it is. It just feels like things were so good that when things turned bad, you had so much hope for the things that were good that you stayed attached to it because of that. Virgo side of this connection. Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Devil. This actually feels like this is all reversed. Because then you have the Knight of Swords, Hangman in reverse. 8 of Swords, yeah. 7 of Pentacles in reverse. Okay. This is a very karmic situation for you. And I had someone comment on one of my videos once, what does karmic even mean? The best way I can describe karmic connections are connections that are rooted in attachment and not love. And learning to decipher between attachment versus love is like, oh my gosh, it's so important. Because oftentimes, like I kind of mentioned at the beginning of this, people who don't know how to be emotionally available will be what they can perceive you as needing and wanting in the beginning, but then they can only put on that act for so long before their real kind of true self comes seeping in. And you're still attached to the beginning of that you mistake the mistreatment for love. And it's like you're attached to like the potential or who you thought the person was or who you think they can be or whatever the case is, that you mistake the reality for love and start to believe that you're deserving of the mistreatment because you feel like that's the only way you deserve love. And I feel like that's a pretty karmic. Dang, we're just like right out the gate with these hard messages here. I feel like that's a pretty karmic cycle for you, Virgo, is maybe mistaking pain for love and believing that love and pain are, I say like intertwined, but like you can't have one without the other, which isn't true. Love doesn't hurt. Love can challenge you and it can push you and it can help you grow and it can help you see things in yourself that maybe you don't want to see, but it doesn't hurt. It doesn't make you feel small. It doesn't take away your sense of self-worth. You don't have to fight for the bare minimum when you're dealing with love. When you're dealing with love, it's reciprocal, it's respectful. And I feel like there's a part of you that believes and has mistaken some mistreatment, especially in this connection, as love. And the attachment, the strong pull that maybe you had in the beginning as love. When in reality, that could have been this person, because I'm not getting good vibes from them. I know I haven't pulled their energy yet, but I am not getting good vibes from this person. And so I feel like they could have, made them seem like maybe they were someone they wouldn't, so that you would kind of fall for them or choose to be in a connection with them. And then when they kind of had you hooked, kind of started showing their true colors. And that's why I feel like you're stuck in this karmic cycle of like, well, things were so good. That was the best I've ever felt. And it's like, well, yeah, okay, sure. First and foremost, just because something is as good as it's ever gotten doesn't mean it's as good as it gets, right? You don't ever want to narrow your realm of possibilities and what you believe is possible for yourself based on what you've experienced, because what you've experienced is such a small percentage of what is actually possible for you. So first and foremost. Second of all, I feel like there's this need to look at it and be like, well, maybe I'm living for the hope of something instead of the reality of it. And that it is a hard truth to have to face. But I also feel like you're very stuck on this, and this has been very painful for you. And quite frankly, Virgo, you deserve better. So let's get more. This is Virgo's side of the connection. Virgo's side of this connection, please. The Knight of Swords in reverse with the World. There's that Three of Swords. Okay. I mean, I feel like you have gotten your heart broken by this connection, like time and time again. This does not feel, and if it's not, you've gotten your heart broken by this person time and time again, you've gotten your heart broken in the way this person broke your heart by other people time and time again. Like this Three of Swords in particular, and the way that this hurts is a cycle for you. And it could have started in childhood. And I feel like there is a bit of a need to see past like what's going on in the connection and kind of get to the root of like where this is all stemming from and why you are connecting this Three of Swords that you have continuously experienced, this pain that you've continuously experienced in this connection, as love. Because I feel like there's something that needs to be uncovered that you haven't fully seen yet. This is Virgo's side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. This is Virgo's side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. The High Priestess in reverse. The Nine of Wands, Nine of Swords. Right now, you're viewing this connection through the lens of your insecurity. So for instance, how do I put that? What's a good analogy? A good example. Like, if you have an insecurity of feeling unlovable, oftentimes you'll look for someone else to provide you with the feelings of being unlovable. But for people who struggle with feeling unlovable, they'll often look for those feelings of feeling lovable through people that are incapable of providing them with that feeling. So for instance, and this is something I dealt with in my own personal life, for the longest time I was searching through love through emotionally unavailable people. Because on a subconscious level, I believed I was unlovable. And when an emotionally unavailable person validated that feeling of being unlovable, I could go, see, I told you so, right? Because your ego, your brain likes to be right. So it'll search out what it believes. And so you could be seeing this through the lens of your insecurity, because your insecurity could be I'm unlovable, or I'm undeserving. And this connection could be reflecting that back at you, could be validating those feelings, those beliefs that you have. And I feel, yeah, because there's the Page of Cups in reverse. This person's emotional immaturity is being taken personally by you, because you're like, well, why can't they treat me right? Why can't they show up for me? Why can't they love me in the way that I deserve? Why not me? Like, why am I not being chosen? Why am I not being loved? It has nothing to do with you. And it has every single thing to do with this person's inability to love themselves. And so they're, people who tear other people down or who are emotionally unavailable are in protection mode. I mean, they're protecting themselves from their own vulnerability. So it has nothing to do with you and your worth, and everything to do with them. Of course, I know that isn't easily seen when you're dealing with someone that you do truly love, especially when you're stemming from kind of that place of attachment, which I really feel like you are, Virgo, which is nothing to be ashamed of. Attachments are our biggest teachers. They're the people in our life that show up to shake us, to wake us up, to show us how to truly love ourselves and show up for ourselves. It's just, unfortunately, oftentimes they show up to show us how to truly love ourselves and show up for ourselves by not loving us and showing up for us. So that it's almost like they teach us what we do deserve by showing us what we're not deserving of. And that's why attachments are so painful and so hard to break free of. Virgo's side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. When I first got with my significant other, hands down the healthiest relationship I've ever had, and we kind of started entering that phase of love, I realized I have actually never experienced love in my life. I've been in many relationships. I've told many different people that I love them. I've thought in my past that I loved someone very deeply, and come to find out I was actually just very attached to the outcome of them, because in my mind, I was like, if this person can love me, then I will feel lovable. Then all my problems will go away. And when I got into my current relationship and I actually have experienced reciprocal, respectful love for the first time, I realized that I have actually never loved or been loved before, because I didn't know how. It's really, really easy to mistake attachment with love, especially when that's all you've experienced. And my parents, they did the best they could, but there was always a transactional aspect to the love that they provided. It was never unconditional, reciprocal love. It was my parents loved me when I would accomplish things, or they would love me when I, was the perfect kind of child who did everything that I needed to do, and so on and so forth. And it's like, I never felt love for who I truly am, like the messy parts of me and all, until this current relationship. And so what I'm getting at is that sometimes we don't realize that we're mistaking attachment for love because we've never experienced love before. And it's sad that there's such a lack of love in this world. But, my parents weren't able to fully show me unconditional love because they never experienced it, right? So on and so forth. And so what I'm getting at is I do feel like this is kind of waking you up to realizing that pain and love do not have to go hand in hand. You can receive love without the pain and devastation that has occurred alongside the love that you have experienced in your life to this point. Virgo side of this connection. I don't like the way that came out. Let me get more. This is for Virgo side of the connection to, oh my goodness, to the person they are dealing with. Virgo side of this connection to the person they are dealing with, please. For Virgo side of the connection. Virgo side of this connection, please. Yeah, there's the King of Cups in reverse. That is literally emotional manipulation. Like, this can be like emotional abuse. And I feel like, Virgo, on some level, that's what, with the Lovers here, that's how you have always experienced love and relationships, is through this. And I feel like that's why you're so stuck on this connection in particular, is because it's been probably the biggest reflection of that to you. But that cycle has to end. You are deserving of far greater than that kind of treatment. And maybe you feel like you didn't have a choice. Like, maybe you're stuck in this for some reason. I'm not sure. But I do know that, the person that I just talked about that I thought that I deeply loved for a long time treated me worse than anybody I've ever been in a relationship had. But the reason that I was so attached to them is the way that he treated me mirrored the way I was treated by, like, every single one of my childhood traumas. It was like he was all of them. Like, I was a gymnast, so coaches, like parents, like everything wrapped into a nice little package of a person. And so the reason I was attached to him was because in my mind, my subconscious was saying, if I can get this person to love me, then it will heal all of those ways that I've ever felt unlovable before, because he was a reflection of all of the ways I'd ever felt unlovable in my past. And so I was looking for him to love me because I felt like if he did, all of those would be healed and alleviated. And obviously that didn't work out. And I had to break out of it in a pretty intense way. But I feel like that is very similar to what is, what's going on here. Why? I just feel like everything's very crooked today. All right, let's get some energy towards this person. I'm not going to lie. I'm not looking forward to tapping into this person's energy. I can just tell. I've learned in doing these love readings that there's a certain, like, aspect to the energy whenever when I'm reading yours, like this side of the connection, I can just tell what I'm going to be getting into. All right. This person's energy toward Virgo. This person's energy toward Virgo. We have ourselves a self-saboteur. 5 of Swords in reverse, Knight of Wands in reverse, 9 of Pentacles with the 4 of Cups. It's not that this person doesn't want this connection. That they want it in their way and on their terms and in the form that they think is best for them. I feel like this person has a tendency to play the victim a little bit. So if you call them out or speak up for yourself or something, it always somehow turns into they're the victim. And I feel like I'm not necessarily going to say that that's the way they manipulate, because they could really genuinely just feel that way. But I feel like the manipulation stems from their inability to recognize and understand their own emotions And so since that's the case, any kind of connection that might bring those to the surface stresses them out, frightens them. And so the way that they handle that is by controlling the connection so that they keep themselves from feeling out of control. And I feel like that is absolutely what went down here, which is why I feel like with this air energy right here, like this person has had a tendency to play some mind games with you, Virgo. This person's energy toward Virgo, please. Seven of Pentacles in reverse with a Two of Pentacles in reverse. This person doesn't know, I just heard this and I thought this was interesting. This person doesn't know how to water where they want things to grow. They don't know how to water where they want things to grow. So I feel like, and that's something I've learned. I feel like I'm talking about my current relationship a lot, but just to try to compare like healthy love versus attachment, because I had to learn it through my current relationship. Real loving relationships take freaking work. It's not like the kind of work where you're like, oh, I'm miserable and we fight all the time kind of work. No, it's both people have to be willing to grow. Both people have to be willing to do the introspection, to have the hard conversations, to look within, to take accountability, and to grow. And that's how you water something and build, something with someone else. This person doesn't know how to do that. They don't know how to water where they want things to grow. They just want something to be what they want it to be without putting in the necessary effort and work. Now, on the flip side, they might not know how to do that. They might not know how to invest in something emotionally, especially with this Page of Cups in reverse, like that energy of being very emotionally avoidant, emotionally unavailable, emotionally inconsistent, emotionally abusive. God, Virgo, this is freaking intense energy. I cannot believe it's morning for me right now, and I'm just whipping out these intense readings. I don't know. I just feel like there is a lot more going on here than just this person not seeing your worth. Like, this person's energy toward Virgo. Like, I just feel like there is a cycle that goes a lot deeper than that. This person's energy toward Virgo. See, they want an opportunity for stability with you. That's what I'm saying. They want this to work, but not in the way that is healthy or that you deserve. It's like they want things to be on their terms, in their way. And I feel like that, yeah, it's like this Three of Swords, this pain that you've been experiencing and this connection, that's how they want things. Because that's all they know too, right? I mean, that's the thing, is it's easy to look at it and be like, oh, well, I'm used to toxic love because I experienced it. Maybe they are too, right? And you can have empathy for that all day long. But both people have to be willing to grow. And I just don't know if this person is. It's like they want this opportunity for success and for stability here. And maybe, I just feel like this person needs a little bit of therapy. I'm not here to diagnose anyone. Don't go telling them. Got a tarot reading. Watch a tarot reading about you, and she said you need therapy. Probably wouldn't go down well. All right, this person's energy toward Virgo. This person's energy toward Virgo, please. There it is. There's that Page of Cups in reverse with the Magician in reverse and the Queen of Cups in reverse. Literally what this is saying is they don't have the emotional tools to make this work. They don't have the emotional tools to be what it is that you deserve. And maybe you know that. Maybe you're like, yeah, duh. And maybe that's why you're like willing to maybe wait for them to heal or wait for them to, and that's why you're so stuck on it. You're like, well, if they go to therapy or if they heal or if they do this or if they do that, you are deserving of love for who you are right now, not for who you'll be when this person decides to do the work on themselves. Okay? Make that very clear. You deserve love for who you are right now, not for who you will be when this person decides to do the work and work on themselves. I feel like that was so necessary to repeat because there's such this belief, especially when you get on the concept of twin flames and things like that, that like you have to have hope for this person waking up and seeing, you know, your worth and deciding to heal and like all of this stuff. And it's like people don't and never will heal for other people. They will only heal when they realize that they need to. And they are going to realize that when they need to, not when you need them to, right? And right now, like, they do not have the emotional wherewithal and emotional awareness to say, I need to work on myself. They're saying, I want this to work with Virgo and just have things be the way that they've always been. And you're like, no, I can't freaking take this anymore. I deserve better. And they're like, well, I don't really get what you mean by that. And then they probably go, oh, so I'm not good enough for you, like, you know, and kind of turn it on into like, you're saying that I'm not good enough. You're saying that someone else could be better. And it's like, no, it's not that, you know, you're like, it's not that you're not good enough. It's that you're not healed enough, that you're not emotionally available enough. And that has nothing to do with someone's worth, you know? But remember, unconditional love and acceptance does not equal unconditional tolerance. You can love and accept someone all day long without putting up with the way that they, that emotional unavailability is going to fall on you. All right, this person's energy toward Virgo. Tower with the Knight of Cups in reverse. See, they're going through it right now. I feel like the more you kind of stand your ground and you say, no, I'm deserving of more, or the more that you show that you're not willing to put up with this anymore, the more that they're going to be triggered by that. Because I feel like people who act like this in relationships have most likely gotten away with it their whole life. And very rarely do they experience people standing up to them, because usually what happens is they just kind of take and tell the next person, and they never really have to deal with someone challenging them in that way. And I feel like that's very much what they're going through in this connection, is the more that you stand up for yourself and the more that you say, no, I'm deserving of more, the more that they're going to be triggered, because they're going to be able to say, well, why aren't my tactics working this time? You know, I can speak so confidently, and I will be the first to say it, I can speak so confidently about how this person's energy responds. I used to be this person. I used to be the person that was very emotionally manipulative, that needed to control over the person that they were in a relationship with, that needed to be right at all costs, that was not self-aware, did absolutely no introspection. I used to be this person several years ago. And I'm very lucky that I was put into a relationship with a very toxic individual who woke me up to my own toxicity. And then I did a lot of healing and learned how to love myself. And that's why I can say this person acts this way, because of the feelings they have towards themselves. They don't love themselves. They don't know what real love is. They don't know how to give and receive that in a healthy way. And that has absolutely nothing to do with the person that they are in that relationship or connection with. And so please understand, I'm not sitting here trying to trash this person. I get this person. I was this person. This person is hurting. This person is buried in their own trauma. But I wish someone would have stood up to me earlier and said, my trauma, your trauma is not my responsibility, right? You know, when I was in that place, I had this very selfish view of, oh, it's just me in the connection. You know, it's just me. It's not the other person. And I've been on both sides of this. And I feel like that's why I really like doing both sides of this, is because I've experienced both sides. I've been on the side of being the one experiencing this kind of treatment, and I've been on the side of the person that was kind of more leaned toward giving this kind of treatment. I wasn't a bad person. I was a hurt person, and hurt people hurt people. All right, this person's energy toward Virgo. This person's energy toward Virgo. This is a cycle. Their purpose here, and I feel like we'll get more on this when we look at the truth of this connection with the Death and the Ten of Swords, is to help you close out a cycle. They're reflecting back at you a lot of stuff within you that needs to be healed. And I feel like it's why you're so stuck, is because there are still things that need to be brought to the surface about this connection. Don't really know what those are yet. Hopefully we'll get more information when we dive into the extended, but I just feel like even if there isn't any information on the extended, it's kind of where your own introspection and your own healing comes into play, right? Asking for guidance and trying to figure out what it is that this is trying to show you. And that's always my advice. If you feel lost and you don't really know what's going on or what your next step is, ask for guidance. God, your higher self, spirit, divine, whoever, a spiritual connection of your own understanding, however you refer to it or however you feel about it. Ask for guidance and be open to receiving it. And that is how you will get the answers that you're ultimately looking for. All right, Virgo, my goodness, what a freaking reading. We're going to hop on over to the extended. You have the Death with the Ten of Swords. I'm going to pull 9 different messages and then pull an advice card for you at the end. Thank you so much, Virgo, as always, for your support of my channel. I do hope that this reading resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Virgo.